All right, video time, bit of an update because I've been doing some work on this V6 120 Prado and I didn't tell you what I've done. So this is a bit of an update and tell you what I'm about to do next. This is next. I'll give you a bit more detail in a sec. And if you've been watching the videos, subscribe with the bell on, you haven't missed it. But if you missed it, you can check the playlist. I think it's called Our 120 V6 or something like that because that's what this one is. And we're bringing it back from the dead, bringing it back from the wreckers, going through all the maintenance, all the things that have been done and need to be done so that if you purchase a older vehicle or you've got one and you didn't know about this stuff, you can just get onto it and sort it out. So if you've been watching, we've got new wheel bearings. We've got new pads and rotors from LSI Auto. We've got the black painted wheels. All easy, cheap DIY stuff, right? I'll give you more info if you watch all those videos in the playlist. The suspension in the front here, that was from our 2022 1GD, brand new, assembled as it was. We pulled it out because this is not doing. How about some light? How about some light? Right there it is. Because this is not necessarily doing the hard tracks or the touring on the Outback, really rough corrugations where it could break. I'll get more into that in another video. But what it did, it firmed up the front a little bit more. It gave us fresh shock absorbers for free. It gave us a little bit more height because those were obviously built for a diesel engine, which is heavier, a 150 Prado, which is heavier, and this is clearly a 120 Prado with a nice light alloy engine, which has its advantages and disadvantages. But it went from about 740 millimeter, we measure from the bottom of the wheel to the top of the guard in a straight up line. We don't go to the center of the hub because it's not accurate. It's too hard to find the center of the hub, so we don't do that. It's really easy to get the edge of the rim to the edge of the guard in comparison. Anyway, it was 740, it's now 770, standard height's about 750, so sagged about 10, we've gained about 20. Overall, that's a 20 mil lift, but it's about 30 mil higher. It looks really good. I'm not chasing height, I want it low and firm. It's a tow vehicle, it's a tow setup, but with a bit of extra clearance because, you know, these Prados are traditionally really low. In the back's an interesting one as well. They just went in yesterday. That's what we didn't put in a video because we've done heaps of suspension replacement videos. Once again, check that suspension information playlist. Wheels and tires if you want to see about painting the wheels for 20 bucks, whatever it is. Bada bing. So what have we done? I've got some Dobinson springs in there. So if we had a bit of a peek around so you can see the green. I'm not going to go into the part number yet because you won't find it in stock anywhere. I'm using some part numbers that have been around a long time that nobody uses. I know nobody uses them because they're just hard to get your hands on. I've got a couple of sets of each different spring in a few different cars now, and we're doing a lot of R&D. So what this spring is, to tell you what it is without giving you the number at this stage, which you might find, and if you do, that's up to you, but I'm not telling you to go and buy it yet. Yeah, we need a bit of polishing and some repairs there as well. We'll get onto that soon. But at the moment, it's mechanicals. So the spring is the equivalent of the 329, which is the heaviest spring, which is actually my favorite spring from Dobinson's, but it can leave the 150 sitting a bit too high if there's not enough weight in there. And this one I wasn't chasing height. And as you can really see, if we take a look in the back here, it's empty in the back, right? So no weight there, but I want the firmest spring because I like it. So this is the 329, but 40 millimeters shorter. So it's a 329 minus 40 millimeters. So identical, but 40 mil shorter. I've said it a few times, we're really clear. Now the measurement you want to know. So before, I can't remember what it was, about 770 or maybe, I don't know. Normally they're about 780. Standard height from there to the bottom of the rim is about 780. And this one's about, well, when it hit the ground, it was 815. I haven't measured it today. It's probably 810 now, right? So the point is, we've got a 20 mil lift at the front and a 30 mil lift at the rear, which is absolutely perfect for a towing setup. When we drop something on the tow ball, it's going to drop down another 10, 15, 20 mil. When we fill the tanks, empty the tanks, you're going to get that variable. But instead of being a lowered Prado, which is what it seemed to be when we got it, it's actually sitting at a really good height. For all the people that don't want high setups, this could be something for you. The rear shock absorbers are the stock standard original brand new shock absorbers out of the 150 Prado as well, out of the same vehicle, 2022. You got to modify, you got to take the middle washer off the rubber. It's a bit molded, glued on there sort of thing. You got to sort of bust that away. You got to use the old center washer off the old shocks, and the rest you just reuse. So it's got 150 rear shocks in it. So I think they're a little bit bigger bore just from looking at them. I haven't taken any measurements, that sort of thing, but let's have a bit of a sticky nose up there, see what we can see. Yeah, I'm climbing around. What can we see? You can't see too much really, except they're nice and clean. and there's those springs. They did come out of another vehicle. Like I said, a bit of R&D, so I thought we try them in and out of this car, that car, 150s, 120s. There's another part number that's 20 mil shorter than the 329. It's going to get really popular with me. So the normal Dobinson spring range, as far as I'm concerned, out the window, because I'm doing new stuff, I'm doing different. I like these monotubes that aren't in this vehicle that we use. The Dobinson's monotubes are awesome, but I think they work really well with the 329 range. I'm going to call this the 329 range. I'm going to call it 329 minus 20 or minus 40. So it's either 329 or it's a minus 20, minus 40. I'm not going to be using any 325s. It's going to be rare that I use a 327 because my new range is 329s, minus 20, minus 40. Once there's stock available, we can get our hands on it. I'll let you know what the part number is. If you're impatient, you've got to work it out on your own. That's up to you. But that's the spring that I like for the Prados with the monotubes. Might be a different story with twin tubes or other suspensions, so that's a different story. The springs really need to match the valving of the shockers, which does vary. So as promised, on this 120 engine, as I've said, you know, there's a lot of people that got it all figured out. They know more than me, but on this engine, the standard service with the correct spark plugs is replacing them every 40,000 Ks, and some people thought that was a bit odd, but that's just what the standard service schedule is, and that's how it is. But we all know that there's a 150 Prado, and they upgraded to a longer life type spark plug. Doesn't matter if it's platinum or iridium. We don't need to go into too much detail. I'll give you the part number if you like. And of course, we believe they're the same size, thread, engine, everything's right. And they should last about 100,000 Ks, more or less, depending how you use it, how you drive it. There's always variables. Without further ado, we got a set of those. That's what we're using. That's what's going into the engine. Iridium, there you go. And of course, down to super cheap auto with a trade discount under $70 for the K&n filter. Spark plugs, I think they're about 20 bucks each. So the way I look at it, 200 bucks, a tune-up's done forever. Because I don't know if I'm ever going to do 100,000 Ks in this car. I'm not planning on a lot of dirt and dust. These don't need to be cleaned for 50,000 miles. I might add a bit of oil to it if I'm going to get dusty. I might have a look at it every now and then. But this thing isn't going to get maintained or cleaned or anything for close to 100,000 Ks. Like these plugs, it's a set and forget, because it just doesn't need to be done. This is going to allow it to breathe, but still filter the air. It's a beautiful thing. Some people are going, oh no, you can't do that. You got to do this and you got to do... Well, you got to do that and I've got to do this. Catch you in the next video. If you're interested, subscribe, turn the bell on, hit the like button if you learned something. And it was a bit of an update video, but we'll get on with it and catch you soon. We might have a video doing the spark plugs, and we might find some oil in there, and bloody air filter. That's easy. We don't need a video on that. This is an update you might have missed. There's a couple of things I just want to tell you quickly. The lower control arms and the drive shafts, in case you missed it, were replaced with aftermarket brands. So we're going to run those for now, see how they go. We might have to order some new drive shafts, keep it in stock for many years in case we can't get them later. We can use them in the workshop, or they might eventually end up on this vehicle. Something we've got to do soon, start stocking up on some genuine supplies a bit. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. Catch ya.